Again, everybody, welcome aboard. As we head north, we'll take a few minutes to introduce our train crew. Our conductor today, he's the man in charge of the train. His name is Chris. He's assisted by two trainmen, Bert and myself, Stu. And up in our locomotive 40 today, we have our engineer, Dan, and our fireman, Ken. And in our first class car, our attendant today is Georgia. We all welcome you aboard. You're riding on today. Those of you who are riding in our coach cars, those are the 500 and 600 series coach cars. They were built between 1914 and 1915 by the Pullman Corporation. They were built for the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad and used in commuter service in New Jersey from their Hoboken terminal. The 1000 series car, which is the only 1000 series on today, is 1002. That's the one with the mahogany sides. That was built by the Bethlehem Steel Corporation in 1925 for the Central Railroad of New Jersey, also used in commuter and passenger service. The youngest car on our train today is our first-class car. Our first-class car, the Great Republic. That was built in 1930 and again built by the Pullman Corporation for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad, where it was used on their premier express train, the Yankee Clipper, which ran daily in both directions between Boston and New York along the shoreline. Our locomotive today is engine 40, built in 1920 by the American Locomotive Company, also referred to as Alco, and it was built in their Brooks Works in upstate New York. During our 4 runs today, our firemen will shovel up to 3 tons of coal into the firebox, and boiler will evaporate over 6,000 gallons of water into steam. This locomotive is a hand-fired, coal-burning, steam-driven engine. A little history of the Valley Railroad and the tracks that you're riding on. This railroad line opened up as the Valley Railroad in 1871 and operated from Saybrook north to Hartford, carrying both passengers and freight. In 1882, it was acquired by the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad, then under the control of the Wall Street financier J.P. Morgan. Operated with both freight and passenger service until 1933, when the passenger service was discontinued. Freight service, however, continued all the way up until the late 1960s, when all service was discontinued, and the state of Connecticut purchased the right-of-way between Old Saybrook and right-hand side, we're going to be passing a 200-acre freshwater tidal wetland area. The Connecticut River at this point is freshwater, but it is also affected by the tide. This is a nature preserve, home of many water-dependent birds. Hopefully we can see some of them during the day. Snowy and white egrets, great blue heron, osprey, ducks, geese, swans, and occasionally we will see a bald eagle. In addition to a lot of small birds like red-winged blackbird. So on the right-hand side, quick look, we'll be going first through post cove, and then the next cove will be crack cove. Just landed out the right-hand side, right in the water there. See them, they're on net. Just pull in and land. Today he's waiting for a little small fish to go by that he can get his breakfast. And if you look right across the wetland area there, you can see a couple poles with platforms on them. The one to the pole with the platform on the left, that's a osprey nest. They were nesting there in the early spring, and I suspect they've thrown the coop, so to speak, and they're on their own at this point. Coming into the town of Peak River, home of several large marinas. And also, at the turn of the 20th century, this was a thriving steamboat location with wharfs, piers, and raw materials coming in and finished goods going out to be shipped around the world. And at one time, it was a major stop on the Hartford to New York steam riverboat. That's a journey that took over 13 hours from Hartford to New York, operating between the 1840s and up until the very early 1930s. Here on the left-hand side, you'll see some of the first clearances we talked about. You'll be coming by a green boxcar road close to the train. Make sure you keep your heads and arms inside. And just past the green boxcar is the original Peak River freight station, which was built by the New Haven Railroad in 1890 and is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's now used by our railroad as an office and storage area. On the right-hand side, we're coming up to Peak River Landing. That's the home of our riverboat, the Becky Thatcher. We'll be coming back later on for you to board the boat. This was also the home from the 1860s through the 1930s of the Tennyson Brothers Shipyard. Over 65 schooners were built here for both the coast guard trading and also as far as the West Indies. The water you're looking at out the right-hand side is the Connecticut River. Connecticut River is over 400 miles long and runs from the Canadian border down to Long Island Sound in Old Saybrook. Now coming up on the right-hand side as we go through Tate's Cut, this is the rock rock cut you'll see shortly. If you look out the window at the north position on the other side of the river, you'll see a big stone structure up on the hill. That's the Gillette Castle. Gillette Castle was built by a Mr. William Gillette, a very famous stage actor in the late 1800s and into the early 1900s. And after he passed away, his heirs did not want the castle for anything, and it ended up getting sold to the state of Connecticut, where it's now part of our state park system. We'll be getting a better view of the castle further up the line. Shortly, on either side, we'll be coming up to Deep River Creek with a large wetland area on either side. So again, we'll see if we can see some wildlife out there. Deep River Creek is the town line between Deep River and Chester. Yeah, there's somebody that's off to the left on the shore. Three of them standing there. Shortly we'll be coming into the town of Chester. On the left-hand side you'll see a little yellow building. That's our Chester station, yellow with brown trim. And set back from the road about 200 feet you'll see a red brick ranch-type building with a fieldstone chimney. That was the original Chester station. The red ranch building set back from the tracks on the left-hand side of the stone chimney. That's the original Chester railway station, moved back many years ago and is now a private residence. On the right-hand side shortly, the trees are clear. You'll get a better view of the Gillette Castle up on the right-hand side about the 2 o'clock position. You'll see it on the other side of the river up on the hill. Okay, we have reached the northern end of our journey today. Our tracks continue on for another 3 miles, but schedule only allows us to go this far. And our locomotive will push us back to Deep River. Our conductor has made his way to the back of the train, and he has a brake valve there and a whistle. And as soon as he tests the brakes back there, we'll be on our way, and he'll act as the eyes and ears for the engineer to get the train back to Deep River. Okay, we're on our way back to Essex, and on our way back we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a scavenger hunt. Now, how this works is I'll call out something for you to look at, look for, and when you see it, you put your hand out in the aisle or raise your hand up and wave. That way I can see that you saw it. And when you get back to Essex, if kids 12 and under, go to the gift shop and you can get a little prize for going playing in the scavenger hunt. Kids 12 and under. We have to go a little slow as we leave the Deep River yard because we have to go through a switch. And once we go through the switch, we'll start picking up speed. The aisle. There we go. I can see you down in 1002. Don't even know if there is anybody in 602. And we can see you in 502 and 501 and the first class car and the open car. Looking for Marina. That's an easy one to start with. Some of them will get a little harder as we go on. South end of the marsh up here. We're going to look for a stone and concrete bridge. Out the left-hand side, you got to look toward the front of the train. And you got to wait till the trees clear. It'll be a bit before you can see it. The stone and concrete bridge carries the road over the marsh area. And we'll be coming up in a bit. Those of you who live in the front end of the train, by the locomotive, when you hear the locomotive whistle or the crossing, you'll be able to see the bridge for sure. But you should be able to see it before then. Look up toward the front of the train and through the stone and concrete bridge. You should be able to see it pretty good right now. First 2 or 3 cars on the train. Yep, car 1002 sees it. Very good. Yep, 502 and 501. First class car and open car. Very good. venues on the Valley River. We have our Essex dinner train. We get a 4-course meal. Those of you are living in China, in restored dining cars dating back to the 1920s. All the food is prepared on board, a 2.5-hour ride, and something that's appropriate for a special occasion, special birthday, anniversary. There's brochures about the dinner train in all of the cars. Take one or stop in at the office and ask for details. Okay, the next thing we're going to look for is a milepost. Mileposts were put in along the tracks every mile as they built the railroad so that the crew could know where they were. And since our locomotive doesn't have a speedometer, they would use the time between the mileposts to calculate how fast they were going. And we're going to be looking at the left-hand side for the milepost. It's going to be the white concrete post with the numeral 6 on it. And we'll pass that milepost shortly after we cross the next road, which is coming up very soon. We're going to look for milepost 6 out the left-hand side. This one's a little harder, you got to look for it. Milepost number 6. Just after we go by this gray rocks up here on the left-hand side, is a gray rock cut blasted out of the rock from the train track. Just after they end, you'll see milepost number 6. Take a look out there and put your hand up when you see it. You can see it right about now. Okay, that's the alright, 502. Yep. And 501. Very good. 501. And now first class car. And the open car. Okay, the next thing we want to look for is something we hope we don't need too soon. We're going to look for a snow plow. But just the plow itself, it's not a truck. It's also up the left-hand side. It's getting kind of covered up in the trees. You can't see it as well as you used to. But it's a mustard yellow plow. And you want to look at it when you hear the second set of train whistles. Start looking for it. Be another couple minutes. Mustard yellow T-shaped plow sitting on the ground. With black lettering on it says Town of Essex Public Works. It'll be coming up shortly on your left. and 501. All right, next thing we're going to look for is coming up pretty quick. The overpass from Route 9 over the tracks. We're going to look for the second overpass. That's the southbound line, not the first one. I want you to look for the second one. You'll see this, either side of the train, you'll see the square concrete columns that hold up the overpass. There is Route 9 over our railroad track. Looking for the second one, not the first one. Okay, 1002 sees the second one. Yep, 502. 501, very good. And first class car. And the overpass. Okay, now change sides of the train, out the right-hand side. This one you gotta really look hard for. It's a small sign. It's a gray metal sign cut out in the shape of a billy goat. It's only like a foot by a foot. You gotta look sort of straight out and sort of down. And you're gonna see it very soon out the right-hand side. It's gray billy goat. Used to be a goat farm. Shape of a billy goat. It's got a green tie on. Look straight out the window, coming up very shortly. Very good. All right, the last thing we're going to look for also on the right-hand side, it's a waterfall, but there's no water in it. It's dry this morning, I think, anyway. But it's going to look like a stone wall. It's an old mill dam going back to the early 1800s. And 1002, you're going to see in just a minute, the opening in the trees and look back to the right, about 100 feet. It's the mill, it's the Falls River. Okay, yep. 1002, you see where it is. And 502. 501, very good. And now the first class car and the open car. All right, that's our scavenger hunt. Remember, kids 12 and under, go up to the gift shop, claim your prize. Gather up your personal belongings so you don't leave anything behind, including your kids. And on behalf of the crew, I'd like to thank you for riding with us today. We hope you had a good time and come back and see us again soon. Remember, there are still some Polar Express tickets and Santa specials still available, although many days have been sold out. The Christmas trains that start the week before Thanksgiving and end up a couple days after Christmas. Check the website or stop into the office. And also coming up on the 1st of November for you, die-hard train fans, if you want to operate our locomotive, use our hand on the phone program where you'll get to have a class on locomotive operations and then operate our locomotive for about an hour out on the tracks. So talk to the office about that or go on our website. That's the hand on the phone. All right, this will be Essex Station coming up right away. Please wait till the train comes to a complete stop before you get off. We'll let you know when it's safe. as you get off, please watch your step and use the yellow handrail.